Hope everyone's having a good Saturday. I'm going to resist or attempt to resist from getting a little emotional while talking because my grandma passed away last year, and there was this movie that we watched a lot growing up together, and it's called Shawshank Redemption. I got this random notification from Netflix that it was going to be gone on April 31st, and I was like, "Ooh, let me go rewatch that," because it was a vibe. Like, my dad, my dad didn't get out of prison until I was about 16, 17. So when I was younger, I always had a very big infatuation with prison. Like, how does it work? Like, what goes on there? So like anything that had to do like with prison, I was like watching. And my mom had me when she was 14. So like when a kid has a kid, you mainly are with your grandparents most likely if they're around. And my mom also had a sister, so I basically was around my grandma and my aunt a lot growing up. And like my grandma would let me watch anything. Boy, I love her. Like it's so funny because like now as a parent, I'll be like, Grandma, please don't let Jaden watch that. But like now as an adult, I'm just like, thank you for letting me watch some of the stuff I watched. Like I remember watching Cujo. I hated 13 Ghosts. That was awful. But yeah, and Shawshank is just insane. First of all, I got Six of Pentacles today, and if Andy, the character from Shawshank, is not a fucking Six of Pentacles person, I don't know what is. And I don't know how to do this, guys. I don't know how to read tarot to a collective, give a download. All I know how to do is to explain the messages that are resonating inside of me, you know? And like, I want to talk about just some things that I have taken from watching that. First of all, so this is going to kind of be like a download slash like I guess like a Shawshank Redemption talk because there's so many messages in this movie. It leaves April 31st, I think, or April 30th. So if you have never watched it or you want to rewatch it again, I would definitely suggest watching it. Like honestly, even thinking about it, perfect timing because like his character definitely would be. I wonder what his real name is. His character would definitely be a Libra moon, and we're in Libra moon energy right now. I wonder what his actual. He's played by Tim Robbins. Anyway, so if you don't know a lot about Shawshank Redemption, it's basically a movie with Morgan Freeman, and it is based on this hotshot banker who gets arrested, and the entire time you think that he most likely did kill his wife because she was cheating on him. And through a series of events almost in a sense like what really happened in real life with the 5+1, the exonerated 5+1, I believe is what they refer to themselves a lot in the documentary, and that is what I try to retain as well. If you haven't seen When They See Us, you're awful. And I'm not saying that because like you should go get like traumaed up or whatever, but I'm saying that because like their story is very important no matter what country you are, no matter what race you are, no matter what, like that story is very, very, very important. And those men are still alive to this day by the grace of God. Truly. Like, oof, When They See Us, it rips me apart a whole different way, like inside. But basically, I want to see his birthday. Ah! The actor was born October 16th. My daughter was born October 15th. So I know he's a Libra. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. I didn't know that. His real name is Tim Robbins. I say when the actors, they play themselves. The best actors, they play themselves. They bring themselves to the audition and they get casted because they are that character to an extent. It's like they're just playing themselves, but like in a different reality type of situation, just like in a situation they would never be in. But moving along, so basically he's like a hotshot banker. He's the character Andy. I can't pronounce his last name. He's a character, and he meets Red. Red is played by Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is somebody who has been convicted of murder and has been in jail for, I think, probably already about 30, 40 years at the time that Andy enters into the institutionalized system. And they lead you to think that Andy did kill his wife because his wife was cheating on him with somebody else, right? And like, eventually, this is where when they see us come around. Eventually, there's an inmate who comes in. Andy has already like done so much work, like for the prison. Like, he overhears the guards talking. He utilizes his resources, his knowledge, and he's like, "Hey, I can help you like get some money," because the guards are basically just like complaining. The lead guard is complaining about how much money he's losing to taxes, of course. And so he basically is like, "Hey, do you trust your wife?" And the guards like about to like throw him like off the entire building because this guard had already beat down somebody just for crying in the prison, and the guy ended up dying. So this guard's just like not the one that you would typically talk to. So everyone's like, "Hey, bruh, like, you new here, don't be just trying to talk to these guards like this. Like, they will kill you, and they will get away with it, and like, it's gonna be what it is till it is what it's not." You know what I'm saying? So all that happens, and like, as he keeps talking, the guard's like, "Hold up, you making my ass itch, but at the same time, how you do that, Harpo?" not to bring in color purple, but he like, "All right, hold up, so 35K I can keep in my bank account." So this leads to him saying, "I can help you, but if you want me to help you, my guy, I'm gonna need you." Sorry, I hope you don't hear me eating. I'm trying to take little bites as possible. As to not if you live in Orlando, I live by the Walmart that is on Claricona, Cody Road. Right adjacent to it is an Advanced Auto. Like, if you know where this Walmart's at, it's where the Speedway, Rebel, whatever it is. If you know where this Walmart is at, then you'll see the Advanced Auto. Most every Saturdays, there are these guys out there. I think their brand is MD&G. They make the best, the best barbecue honey. But I'm trying to eat a little bit possible so I can just get this message out quick. I got stuff to do. I got projects to create, books to write. I got an internal world to pay attention to, which is a lot of what Shawshank Redemption is about. Man, I kind of wanted to like make my brother watch it, but I hate that because I got like so much stuff I want him to watch. Really, I haven't got him started on like watching anything because I'm gonna overwhelm you, bro. I can consume content like a motherfucker. And now really thinking about it, my grandma was the original content queen. Like, I'm telling you, my grandma had everything on DVD and VHS, every TV show, every movie, like everything you could possibly imagine. My grandma had it. Like, I just love being able to sit there popping this one, turn that bit over, this side too. Yeah, for the rest of the episodes of What's Happening. What was the spinoff to What's Happening? Or is what's I think it's so funny that Tim Robbins is a Libra. Literally the day after my daughter. I'm trying to remember the theme song of What's Happening, and it's like evading my brain. Mirage. Oh my gosh, What's Happening was just one of my favorites. One of my favorite black movies growing up, or black TV shows. But I could have sworn that there was I don't know, ABC. What's Happening Now? Maybe that was the spinoff that I'm trying to think about. Yeah, when they became adults. But I just kind of want to get like the theme song back in my head. It's not a theme song, it's like theme sound. Let me see, where's videos? crush when I was younger. I can't remember his actor name, but anyway, what's happening? Loved it. The sister is the original iCarly, if you ask me. The sister is like the original basis for that character. Just the black version in the 80s/90s. I don't remember. Anyway, moving along. I'm not gonna be here long. But yeah, I got Six of Pentacles, and his character is just such a Six of Pentacles type of an energy. And it's so weird too, because I also got Sadness for the Prism Oracle and the Fool from the Lightseer deck. And it's just really making me feel like it was a line for me to really watch Shawshank Redemption as a 28-year-old. It's crazy too, like, at one point, the warden, because, you know, now people are starting to realize how he's a hotshot. Oh, let me actually back up a little bit, just in case you don't know the story. Morgan Freeman's character, Red, is somebody who can get whatever you need from prison. Like, he's, like, the go-to guy to get whatever contraband you're not supposed to have in the prison, right? So, when Andy first walks in the prison, everybody's kind of, like, judging him because he doesn't look like other people who would be there, you know? Like, he's somebody with a career. Like, in these times, like, honestly, like, a lot of times, even if you did murder, you probably could get off if you wanted to if you were white. So it's just, like, somebody with a degree, education, and a steady job typically would maybe not be here today, like, in a situation in jail. But along the way, he goes to Red. The first thing he asks for is a small pickaxe or whatever. And Red is like, no. If that's going to be going to someone's head or face or something like that, like, and Andy's like, if you were to really see what the thing is, like, it's not that big of a deal. So he gets it for him, and this ties into the very end of the entire story. And also at one point, he asks him for a poster. And this makes Red feel like, ha ha ha, Morgan Freeman, ha ha ha, I knew this white boy was just a regular old person like the rest of us. He wanted to see a fine woman on his wall just like us. I thought he would come ask me for a calculator at this point. So it was so funny when Morgan Freeman was like, hold on, let me see that girl do that hair. And she was like this. And Morgan was like, yeah! And I was just like laughing. I was like, okay. Girl, of course. Like, that many times in prison, whatever y'all would have put on the screen, it could have been a roach with a wig flip, and I would have been like, ooh, honey child. But Andy's character focused a lot on finding where you can go inside. He talks about it a lot throughout the entire movie. At one point, he locks the warden out because at this point he's made the warden a millionaire with scams because he knows how to just pretty much push money around. It's, of course, like, this is before a lot of laws happen and a lot of more red tape. It's a lot harder to do this at this point, but this was a point where it was, like, very easy to get into and make false identities and just, like, hide stuff. Also, when he was drunk in the beginning, he was drunk outside of his, I guess, wherever his wife was having the affair at, but he never actually did it. He was just, like, crying because he realized that that's what was happening, and I guess he went home. I don't remember exactly. But long story short, he basically gets convicted for it, and then after, a little bit after this, when he's talking to the guards, basically getting his foot started on, becoming somebody that they can use, becoming somebody who's resourceful. The first thing that he wants to do is, like, in trade for making you keep extra $35,000 in your pocket, because he basically telling him if you give your wife $35,000 as a one-time gift, basically give her the difference off what you would pay to the IRS, give it to your wife as a one-time gift, then that way you are legally hiding your money and not having to pay that back, which I think now is you cannot do at all. I think, like, you'll get red flag like a motherfucker. But he does that. That's his advice to him to do. And he's like, I can help you get set up. I can do everything for you. All I want is 3 beers for all my men out here who are working. And the guy says yes. And Andy, the one who made the whole deal happen, is the only one not to drink. He's like not giving it up. And I feel like basically when you look at Andy, it's obvious that when he was on the outside of jail, he was more of a prisoner than when he was inside of jail, because he was a prisoner to himself. He was a prisoner to his moods. He was a prisoner to the way he was kind of cold and withdrawn, which also is a big reason of why he even got convicted in the first place. Because like when he got there to the trial, he was emotionless. Like he was just kind of like, yeah, I just didn't do it. Like I just promise you, I just didn't do it. And because of that, he came off like he was very cold-hearted. And then later on, as he's talking to Red, he tells him, he's like, I pushed my wife away. And I kind of did leave myself here. Because even though I didn't kill her, I still put her in an environment where she could never feel anything from me. Like, he's like, I emotionally deprived her, so, like, of course she would go cheat on me. And this is why I didn't kill her. Because, like, I do think she had justification. I was upset about it, basically. Because through the middle of the story, after he gets more push and pull around the area, a new prisoner comes into the jail, and he's a extroverted type of character. He's very talkative, flighty, about it. He's like total Sag energies, and or even Aries energies, honestly. And so he basically approaches him and asks him to help him get his education. And so there comes a point where, like, I forgot exactly what happened, but they get mad at each other, or he gets mad at him because he feels like he's a failure and all that type of stuff. And then throughout that, he finds out that he's a banker and some other details, which makes him go, oh, wait, let me tell you something. So he proceeds to tell him that when he did a stint in a whole other facility, in a whole other prison, that he had a bunk mate who basically essentially confessed to being the actual one to have had killed his wife and his wife's lover. And he was like laughing. He was like, and they pinned it all on a hotshot banker. And so he tells Andy this, and Andy is like 38 hot. Andy's like, what the I always knew I was innocent because I knew I didn't shoot the gun. That was another part that made him look really guilty, was that he did have a gun, and he did buy a gun recently before his wife had died. And when he bought the gun, he ended up being outside of the house where his wife was cheating on him, and he was contemplating it. He was thinking about going. I don't think he's contemplating shooting his wife, but I'm pretty sure he's contemplating shooting the other guy who was cheating on his wife, or whatever, with him. And instead, he like left and then threw the gun into the river, which sounds like a bullshit story, but the character actually did do that. So that's another element of why he also, like, all those things combined, him being cold, like the gun, him buying a gun recently after he finds out, then the gun being gone. I mean, if I was in the jury, I would convict him as well. Sorry, Andy. But, however, when he finds this out, homeboy goes straight to the warden, and he like, yo, I know my shit, and I know for a fucking fact that his testimony alone can get me up out of this bitch. So, what's the plan? Like, bruh, I still got you. Don't worry. I ain't gonna say shit about the money. Because if I say shit about the money, that's gonna indict me too. And I'm gonna be right back up in here with you. And you gonna be right back up in here. We gonna be in here together. And I'm not trying to have that. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, part. Don't worry about it, son. And unfortunately, that was not the best thing to do. What did he say? He said, because then, like, the warden's just like, yeah, so no one's gonna believe him. And, like, the guy probably even got released. And, like, you think the guy's gonna want to add a whole other life sentence for a crime that he did just to get you out? He's like, this whole thing is futile, pointless. Like, let's just forget about it, and you can keep cleaning my money, okay? Thank you. And he's like, fuck no. Fuck no. Fuck no. I want to go. I want to get the fuck up out of here. So then the warden, and he asked the warden, he's like, why are you being so obtuse towards me? So then the warden's like, get the fuck out, and put him in solitary for a whole month for all I give a damn. And while he's in solitary, he calls the other inmate who had originally talked about everything in the first place, and he was like, I just want to know. He takes him out like outside like late at night, and he's like, I just want to know, like, are you telling me the truth about what's going on about Andy being innocent? And the guy's like, yeah, I really am. And he's like, and are you willing to testify to this? And he's like, yeah, I really am. He's like, that he is innocent. This guy, I believe the inmate who told me this without a shadow of a doubt. And he's like, that's what I was afraid of. So then he like just drops a cigarette, crushes it, takes a few steps back, looks up at the guard tower, nods his head, and the guard pow, shoots homeboy and kills him. Essentially killing the only connection that Andy has to free himself. But Andy keeps going inside of himself and cultivating his internal self and investing in his internal self. And no matter how much he like literally gets beaten, bruised, taken down, hurt, like he was like raped multiple times by these guys they called the sisters. He always fought them. He always fought back. He got the library. He got the prison a library by writing once a week, every week, to the proper channels to try to get books for prisoners. Total Six of Pentacles energy, along with getting all the guys the beers, but then he didn't want any beers, and he didn't want any beers because he didn't want to continue numbing himself. And that is huge, because I feel like I numb myself a lot. Like, even when it comes to, like, trying to go to sleep, like, I'll take sleep pills just so I can numb myself. Even when I have tried to, like, unalive myself, it has been with sleeping pills, because, like, that is the ultimate way to numb yourself, And when you numb yourself, when you do that as a crutch and as a habit, you never build anything internally. And that's something I've had to sit with myself and wonder, like, oh, this year feels like a personal hell. This year feels so horrible. But then I have to ask myself, where are my internal investments? Because I've been so focused on trying to get those external benefits. I've been so focused on trying to get the bag, make sure my bank account's back in negative now. But it won't be there long. I got a job. I'll figure it out. No matter how many times people shut their face on Andy, he got the fuck up. And not only did he get the fuck up, he got the fuck up, but he got the fuck up in a way where it was more so reclaiming himself. From the jump with the character, you can obviously tell that he's so more quiet externally because he's so loud internally. I feel like I've been living my life very loud externally and internally. That's just my thought. And I'm reading my notes a little bit. I wrote twice, cultivating our inner life plus salvation lies within. And when you don't have any inner life, that is death. It is. And it's interesting because, like, I don't want to be to the point where I'm like Andy, like, where I have to lose everything to truly build everything inside for me. And I feel like, well, sometimes life keeps asking me, how much more do you have to lose in order to truly grow? Because if you don't grow, you're just going to keep sitting. And that does nothing for anybody. That does nothing for anybody. But at the same time, I do feel like getting your feelings, just don't stay in your feelings. You know, like the longer you sit there. What is the other card I pulled today for the Prism Oracle deck? Growth, sadness, and cleanse. There is nothing wrong with sadness. As a Pisces sun and moon, there's nothing wrong with sadness. Nothing. In fact, there's more so wrong when you try to avoid it. It delays your growth. And delays the chance to cleanse, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. I don't really know where I'm going with this. I didn't want to be here too long. You can read some of my notes. When your external world strips you, the internal world still exists. That's another thing. A big portion of the movie focuses a lot on finding your happiness. And that may sound cliche, and it may be like, oh, everyone fucking says that. But it's like, it's actually true. And it's something I've been, like, really trying to teach my daughter, but I realized, like, how can I teach my daughter if I'm not doing the same thing myself? Like, I try to tell her, like, the reason why I like doing puzzles is because puzzles is something that helped me, like, find something I'm doing just for myself. Not a cool website to impress people, not, some good content to teach people, so that way I can impress people and make income, like, just something purely for yourself. Because you gotta put your attention where you want it. And you gotta find things that speak to you. To you. I've spent most of my life trying to find hobbies that speak to other people, to show them how much I am worthy of love. But the more and more people have slipped away in my life, the more I'm realizing that I gotta be the one to show myself that I'm worthy of love, to myself, to have union with myself, you know? And if you control where you put your attention, you can stop letting that strip you of your inner life. But I put two people laughing. I don't remember what that's about. Two people lying. Never open Andy's Bible. Yeah, that was another thing. So like the prison, like the guard or whatever. What were the scriptures? Because the scriptures were so telling. Oh my freaking gosh! I never would have like pinpointed this as a child. But because eventually Andy escapes. He escapes completely. Like he gets out of there, and he like literally took money from the war. It was like bang bang bada bada boom ba boom ba boom. In fact, honestly, to be real with you, I almost think that Shawshank Redemption may have given me a very unrealistic view of the way justice really works for people. Whoa, bottom of the deck, which is also a Libra card. The fuck. I'm telling you, man, tarot. And I'm sorry, I believe tarot comes straight from God. I really do. Like, and I feel like that's why we don't have the source of it. Because the source of it is him. Like, do we all really think that the only actual information God has given us is in the Bible? Do we really, like, if you believe that, then I think you are limiting God. Because if he can make you do what it do, if he can create you, make you how you are, if he can create an infrastructure such as a body that, like, at times, the way people's bodies can get in accidents, or the way people's bodies can be hurt. When people say that someone has been beaten within an inch of their life, they have killed their physical body. And you know why they're still here? Because you can't beat the fucking soul. That's why they're still fucking here. And how is that not God? How? Like, I just don't understand how people can't see that God lives outside of the Bible, that he's bigger than the Bible. I feel like people want to limit him, and then they want to stick to these hardcore ideologies and beliefs and the way they see things, and they feel like it has to be that or it's nothing else. It has to be John 3:16 or piss on the pot and get out, you know? And it's just, I just feel like that's just like looking at him so small. We might as well get in like not arguments, but like just disagreements, because I would tell him that like I feel like it's fine to call God Daddy, and he'd be like, no, I feel like you should call God Father. And then he was like, and I would like Jaden, I would prefer Jaden to call me Father, because when you call somebody Father, it's a more sign of respect. And it's like, I disagree, because I personally feel like you can still be very respectful about someone, about something, and have a relationship with them that is your own relationship with them. It doesn't have to look structured or organized. It doesn't have to look like, hey God, I made sure I told the truth today. I made sure I didn't cheat today. I made sure trying to think of sense. I don't know, because growing up the way my church believes, like they believe that the Bible is like the only thing, and like they follow it like very strictly, like with their own interpretation. Like their interpretation is like the interpretation that's supposed to be the only interpretation anyone else is supposed to take. Like they actually don't even believe that if you are, like I come from the Church of Christ, and they don't even believe that if you are not of the Church of Christ that you're going to heaven. So everybody else is going to hell just because you don't go to a church that is called the Church of Christ. Automatically. And first of all, I think that's doing his job, and I think that's so wrong. But that's not what this video is for. One day, you know, if I ever have any subscribers, if I ever have anyone who wants to watch this or watch it, one day I will fully talk to you about my experience with the Church of Christ, okay? But that's not the day. I'm actually going to look back on this soon. I was trying to think of anything else I wanted to say. I think I'm gonna end it here. I'll do a full spin my chair. Just trying to grasp life. Just trying to move it along and keep it pushing. Oh, actually, what I was about to say earlier is I think Shawshank Redemption may have given me very unrealistic expectations a little bit, you know, but like still realistic expectations, because like I just always have this false belief that people are going to do what they have shown themselves to maybe going to do. I don't know how to say it. Like, you know, like I guess I never expected my husband to leave me the way he did. Never saw it, never expected it at the moment. But now that I look at it, I'm just like, why were you clinging so hard to somebody who had already sat there and told you they didn't care about your vows anymore because of the way they perceived your behavior? Like, why are you still fighting? And I think it's because I always just believe that, like, people will see eventually, you know? Just see. Just open their eyes and just see that, hey, maybe all is not lost. Like, hey, maybe we can figure ourselves out, and even if it doesn't mean figuring ourselves out together, maybe we can amicably figure out ourselves and still be at peace with each other and peace with ourselves, even if we don't see eye to eye. And sometimes it's just not as realistic. Like, sometimes the warden's gonna call that person in, that one person who can save you, and he's gonna go, pow, 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 dun, 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 dun. Shout out to IMO Misha for saying that so much during Married at First Sight, I think season 13, with Bao. She would be like, shout out to Hurricane Chris, because Bao would be like, pow, 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 bum, bum, and her name is BAO from Married at First Sight. Also, crazy enough, the job I used to work for, Stairforge USA, they actually sold Stairforge to somebody from there, Jacob Harder, and I thought that shit was so crazy because I love Jacob from Married at First Sight. But I kind of got fired before I could get into that with him because I went to him so bad. I'm like, guys, did you know? But it is what it is. I actually wanted to like. So in the beginning of the movie or whatever, after the warden realizes Andy's worth, he walks into his jail cell and he like takes the Bible from him, which is so fucking funny because the warden never opens the Bible, you guys. The warden never opens the Bible until the very end. When he opens it, because Andy mails it to him after he escapes, when he opens it, it's a pickaxe. It's the same thing that he used to break himself out of prison. And listen, unlike Michael Scofield, he ain't need to have the prison infrastructure tattooed on his skin and his back. And he said, I'm getting up out of this clean cut than a motherfucker, and I'm going to Texas. Not Texas, Mexico. And then I'm gonna get my homie Morgan Freeman. You know, Morgan Freeman got some issues. I'm gonna get my homie Morgan Freeman, and he gonna come join me in Tahuki, Mexico. I can't pronounce it. Don't ask me to pronounce it. But let me see, what's the scripture? When he walks in originally to kind of like size him up to like, because obviously by now like the guards have told him like, hey, no, homeboy really like saved me. He saved me $35,000 with Geico. Yay! And so the warden, he like does a cell toss, but he really does a cell toss to just kind of like throw Andy off of his like balance and then like kind of size him up and see what he's really about, like see if he can utilize him, which eventually Andy pretty much gets him like $1 million. What the fuck? This is like article thing that popped up on top, and this talk about the Suez Canal blockage, which is so weird because I was just talking about my old job, and if memory serves me correct, that Suez Canal block, I can't pronounce it. Let me see if I play it. It said it like resurfaced. Yeah, SUEZ canal blockage. It was a container ship, and if memory serves me correct, the job I used to work for had a shit ton of iron rods on there, which is actually pretty dope for them because a lot of customers needed those. So if that is the exact container, I'm happy for that. I think that really is the container. They said that it randomly refloated and they found it. That's awesome. I'm hoping that the people who I was like processing order for like months ago are gonna finally get their shit that they need. Because stairs gotta be built, because you gotta listen. If you don't have stairs to go to the top, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Act the fool? Oh no, I'm crazy. Anyway, if you want to see what I was talking about, basically, it's like popped up like on there. Anyway, so I'm gonna end on this. So the warden, he like walks in, right, and he's like, oh, I'm glad to see you reading the Bible, because like when the warden introduces himself to all the prisoners, he's like, I'm a man of God and this is what this is built on. But he's like really the devil. Like, you know, it's so funny. Like, I really want to try to figure out a good response when people say I'm praying for you and you know like they're just like total devil energy. I don't know. I just be like, okay, thanks. But like one day I'm gonna come up with a better response. I should ask I am Amisha, because she has like the best responses. Let me tell you, that woman's the queen of swords if I've ever seen one. But anyway, he was like, took his Bible, the warden, who's supposed to be the godly man, who, let's not forget, shot the guy who could get him, like, or had the guy shot without even moving a finger. That's what the devil really be doing. The devil don't be gotta lift a finger. Let me tell you something. Like, when the devil came up and told God, God said, where you been? He said, I've been walking through and forth the earth. Just through and forth. Back and forth. Running cartwheels on these hoes out here. And listen, let's be honest with it. You know what the devil really was. In church. Like, I've always imagined that. Like, every time I think about like where when the devil told God that he had been walking through and forth the earth, I said, oh, I know he was at church. I know the devil was at the pulpit. Ooh, I know he was shining, because that's what the devil's going to do. The devil is going to love. Like, come on. You don't think the devil don't want to make a fool out of God? He can't, but you know he wants to. So it makes the most sense for the devil to be connected to the people of the church. Duh. Like, that's going to be his best asset, because that is what is going to make the devil feel like he's making God look like a fucking fool. That is what he's going to do. Now, some of y'all may not like the way I'm talking about God, but I'm not disrespecting him. At least not the relationship I have with him. And you can tell me otherwise, but I will ask you, are you God? Because if not, shut your mouth. Shut your trap. And I said what I said. In the words, I am Amisha. I ain't changing it. And I ain't drunk or high. I am sober as a, what they call a kite. Why do they say sober as a kite? Why do they say sober as a kite? It's funny because my ex, like, there's, like, so many sayings. I'm just, like, am I just, like, so different? And then I'll, like, every time I would hear him on TV, I would, like, have to, like, prove it to him. Like, see, I told you I'm not crazy. Like, I told you, like, I'm not the only one who says this stuff. I used to look at him for so much validation. Like, even to the point where if I knew something for a fact myself, sometimes I would say I knew it from somebody else to make it more credible for him, because I could feel the energy of him and feel that, like, if he thought it came from me, he would just doubt me. Which I also did with my mom, too. It's just so weird how, like, life repeats itself and you do, like, the same things inadvertently. But I'm really trying to close this out, and I didn't mean for this to be 41 minutes. Anyway, okay, so, I think the videos are playing out loud. Pause. But yeah, so when the warden gets to the prison, he's like, I'm pleased to see you reading this. Any favorite passages? I'm reading a blurb from it. And Andy says his passage, he quotes is, watch ye therefore, for ye not know the master of the house cometh. Can I get this in the, I'm sorry, y'all. Can I get this in the KJV version? Not KJV. Can I get this in the NJKV version? You know, it's so funny, too, because I actually found this, like, let me see, let me go. It's in my closet. I found this outside of, like, Walmart randomly. And I was like, when I went into Walmart, I was like, if I walk out and this is still here, I am taking it, actually. Instead of me Googling, actually look right here. Because, like, I've had a lot of church hurt, so I've separated myself a lot from, being as into the Bible. But now that I am just in a different headspace, I am just trying to find a way to reclaim my Christianity, to reclaim my faith, without anybody else telling me anything, without anybody else telling me what I still have to be, how I still have to believe, without anybody telling me, you're not who you were when we married you, Kayla, without any of that bullshit, you know? Like, I jumped from, my spiritual journey kind of was, like, I jumped from being very showy with my faith, and, like, trying to almost, like, fake it till I make it. And, like, never truly believing at that moment. But also not being aware that I'm not. I'm a teenager. I'm in a youth group. And I also don't have a lot of friends outside of church. So it's more like, for me, my Christianity was a groupthink mentality. Right? And so when I got married to my husband, one of the stances that he used to break up with me was the fact that I wasn't the same godly woman when he married me. Even though throughout our marriage, I became less when I say showy, I mean I would text everybody every day, scriptures, and be like, I'm praying for you, and not saying that none of that wasn't true. What I'm saying is my Christianity with faith used to be based on a lot of other people. It used to be a lot more external instead of it being internal, instead of being actually for me. So it was not sustainable. So when I separated from these people, I had to try to find my own faith in God. However, I was still married and in union with somebody from that same infrastructure of church, right? And the person that I was still in that union with, he still abided by a lot of the ideologies, and he has more, to me, a fear-based relationship with God. Like, he's very nervous a lot about, am I blasphemous? He's very nervous about, like, oh my gosh, if I don't fall, like, from the Ruta to the Tuta, then, like, I could go to hell. And it's my belief that if you do feel that way, then you need to lead your faith in Christ that way. And if that means that I can't be a part of your life, I understand that. But don't sit here and strip away my Christianity, my faith, the way I believe in God, because you know the inner workings in the conversation. Because basically it turned into a thing where he just kind of tried to say to me that because I had told him that I didn't truly believe what I was doing when I was younger, that I guess I didn't actually like God and I was fake or something. I don't know exactly where the mindset there was. But all I know is that at any time, at any point of life, I am allowed to transform. I am allowed to grow. I am allowed to adapt. The difference is I'm allowed to do that without hurting other people. You know? It's like even the whole conversation about boundaries. You need to have balance with boundaries. You need to have grace with boundaries. You need to communicate about your boundaries in a respectful manner. And when I say in a respectful manner, I mean, listen, I don't care if someone is up your ass 18 million times. Just the same way it says in the Bible about forgiving 66 times 7. I also take that to a lot of things. I also take that to a lot of the times when you have people in your life and you're trying to communicate with them. That's that same ideology to me. You know? And at the very least, you know what you can do instead of being rude ass fucking people? Just don't respond ever. Never. Even if it aggravates the person, even hurt, just you don't even have to ever lift a finger. But that's going to a whole nother conversation. We went off somewhere I didn't expect to go. And I thought I was gonna stop talking like a long time ago. But let me read. I want to read the like this version. Hell isn't a place. This life is hell. This is a very interesting Bible. I can't wait to get into it. Actually, I really like this Bible. Most people are bothered by these passages of scripture they don't understand. But for me, I've always noticed that the passages that bother me are those I do understand, by Mark Twain. Wow. Wow. I'm going to have to do some readings in tangent with this Bible, actually. Which I know will probably make the girls pissed off. How can you talk about God and tarot at the same time? Like this. Like this. Like this. Play with it if you want to. Chat, I'm really getting to the point where I'm gonna stop letting people play in my face. It's over. No more playing in my face, ho. Alright, Mark 13:35. Watch therefore, for you do not know when the master of the house is coming, in the evening, at midnight, at the crowing of the rooster, or in the morning, lest come and suddenly he finds you sleeping. And what do I say? I say to you all, watch. That's what Andy told the warden. The shade of it all. Andy knew what he was. Listen, Andy, high priestess energy. Andy knew what it was. Run up again, baby. Basically telling him, I got my eye on you. My eye is on you because you think you the master of this house. You think you are, but little do you know, me and this black man, he got me a pickaxe and he got me a poster of a hot woman from this era, and pick, I'm picking a hole. And it's also crazy too because like that entire night, like when he finally gets out the hole and everything, I never thought about the fact that Morgan Freeman really like couldn't even sleep because he thought his friend was gonna kill himself that night. After, you know, like that's a hard thing, finding out that someone knows you're innocent and then having that person kill that person that knows you're innocent. Damn. John 8, and then so the warden's verse was John 8 verse 12. Then Jesus spoke to them. Let me see, I'm trying to show this the right chapter. Yeah, it is. Then Jesus spoke to them again, saying, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of the life. See? You see how ignorant that is? Because, like, it's literally like him trying to say, like, listen, you follow by my rules, you scratch my back, and you ain't never gonna be in the dark. You always gonna have it where it's at, baby. And then before he leaves, he says, oh, it hands him back the Bible. He's like, I hate to deprive you of this. Salvation lies within. Which is crazy because, like, that's actually where the pickaxe was in the first place. It was inside the Bible. And the word, like, that's why when they tossed the cell, they never found it. But the word